Happy holidays from everyone here at the table. I am Midgarin, joined once more by a cast of wonderful and affordable role players. This time, we're doing things a little different and bringing you a two-part holiday special over the next 2 weeks. Let's jump in as the Sunday Nights present to you Into the Darkness, a Kringlefest story. Far to the north, the thriving mining town of Iceville survives long, cold, and dark winters. When the nights are longest, the people of Iceville light up the darkness with candles, songs, and exchange of gifts during Kringlefest. The celebration is named after the mysterious Kringle, who long ago brought the light to Iceville after the dark days. But Kringle is most loved for giving every child in the town a gift during Kringlefest that he has made from his magical workshop. It is believed by many that Kringle travels into town on a red sleigh full with presents drawn by 8 flying reindeer. Kringle silently enters each house without ever being seen by children or their parents. In exchange for the gifts, the children leave treats for Kringle, which are always gone when they awaken to find their gift. You all are in Iceville during Kringlefest. You either have lived here most of your life, or you've come here just to see the celebration. So, let's go around the room and introduce our players, and we will start with Zenora.
Alright, Zenora is a ghostwise halfling. She is actually an albino, so she's very, very pale, bright eyes. She typically wears her hair in a braided fashion. She's a cleric. She's a warhead cleric. Her deity is Tyr, who is a Viking deity of war, order, and protection. So she typically dons a more Viking style of clothing and hairstyle.
Are you from Iceville, or are you just here for the festivities?
She's currently traveling with another member of the party. They are just out on an excursion, which I believe Keljor will explain more in depth.
Let's continue on to Kremnar Copperfoot.
Kremnar Copperfoot would be a very old dwarf. He is well past his prime. He's getting old, barely able to really even get in there and swing his axes anymore, but he's coming out here to this festival because he used to take his son out to the festival every year, but no longer with him, but he still comes. He was going to have a long white beard and dressed in armor. That pretty much describes him.
All right. Gilly, why don't you talk to us a little bit about yourself?
Gilly is a turtle bard who runs around with singing Kringlefest song. He wears a turtleneck sweater and a large beanie.
Are you from the town, or are you visiting to sing your songs?
I'm a traveling bard. I go from town to town to spring Kringlefest cheer during Kringlefest, or the Kringlefest season. I also do other seasonal songs throughout the year.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And last but not least, Keljor.
Hi. My name is Keljor. I know magic, and my friend Zenora is taking me on a trip. I'm a bigger guy. That's what people tell me anyways. I'm about over 250 pounds, 6'9". I like the magic that uses the shadows. I didn't really have to learn it. They say that somewhere I was born under an unlucky star. But maybe I'll learn something on my trip that will let me know if I'm a good person or a bad person.
You're a great person.
For those that have come to the town, as you walk around, it is a very dark night. You do see that the town has been lit by candles. There is small little bonfires around the town as well. As you walk into, you see shops selling sweet treats, pastries, and of course you see a very interesting looking turtle singing songs.
I decided to be a bard, so this is what I need to do, but I want to apologize to our listeners beforehand that any bleeding that happens from their ears is entirely its fault. Iceville was cursed in darkness, and a time long ago, every nook and cranny there was no light would go. Fear and sadness for all, and the tears they did flow, for no relief in sight did the dawn ever show. A stranger came to the town, coming up the road. He said he wanted to free Iceville from the darkness that took hold. He said his name was Kringle, a hero from far away. He'd heard our plight in Iceville, promising to hold the dark at bay. The evil feared the hero, and tried to trap him cold. But the children cheered for Kringle, and their love kept him from that hold. The evil swore to slay him, but Kringle was so bold, he slew it with his power, bringing light to defeat our foe. As years passed, he stayed near us, in the forest of the north. His works are full of magic, children's toys do come forth. He brings them down to Iceville, he slips from house to house, leaving toys and eating cookies, not even noticed by even a mouse. This day is a thanks to him for bringing light to our town, and he thanks all our children with presents that abound.
Woo!
Well, you don't see that every day, eh, Keljor?
Keljor does not want to see that every day.
Yeah, I don't blame you there, buddy.
As the festivities go about, what do you all decide to do in this wonderful winter wonderland?
Cramnar is going to go listen to the people that actually know how to sing on the other side of town.
Well, we should probably find a place to stay for the night.
Keljor thinks so too. Keljor do not like the snow very much. Very cold.
Yeah, my little fingers are icicles.
Keljor picks up Zenora and slings her across his shoulders. Whee! As a frobog, he can carry, I think it's another size up in terms of weight, so he's just gonna carry her on his shoulders until they find an inn to rent a room for the evening.
And Zenora will help keep his ears nice and warm.
And Gilly, where are you heading to?
Have I made any money with my caroling?
Go ahead and roll for performance. First roll of the night.
Gilly rolled a 7.
So with your roll of 7, people are stopping, they're listening. So as you pick up the hat, as you pass around the hat, they are just dropping in a copper. You make about 5 or 6 coppers from this little song and dance that you're doing. Not a huge amount, just enough to probably get you a warm meal.
Well, I'm gonna head and go get myself a warm meal and maybe a cup of hot cocoa if I have enough spare change for it.
As you all head around the same direction, not as a team, just going to the same place. You're heading towards the inn. It's a very small inn on the little bit of the outskirts of town. It's the first building that you actually see as you walk into the town itself. As you're all walking that way, coming towards you, wearing a pointed green hat, a red coat, and green tights, red shoes, this little gnome stumbles into the town and collapses at the doorstep of the inn.
Keljor! We gotta go help him!
Why?
Well, he fell down. He looks like he could be hurt. We should check up on him.
Do you really want me to?
Yes, I think it would be a very good thing to do.
Okay. Keljor goes over and, at his friend's advice, picks up the little gnome man and sets him on his feet, and clumsily dusts him off, barely keeping from knocking him over again.
As you set the gnome down, his legs are very shaky, and he collapses once more. And he points north, and he goes, "Must save Kringle!" And he passes out.
Keljor, let me down. I'm gonna help him.
Keljor shrugs, kind of annoyed at this whole proceeding. He did something good and it didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take Zenora from his shoulders and set her on the ground, and quietly shake his head.
You did good. I think he's just really hurt. And Zenora is going to cast Cure Wounds on the gnome. He gets 3 HP. Woo!
So Zenora, go ahead and explain your magic.
She's usually more of a hands-on kind of cleric. Like, battle is the way she tends to worship, but she does have that healing magic just so that she can help her friends or herself when the time comes, as it always does in battle. She's maybe a little bit more rough when it comes to healing. Like, she just grips their shoulder a little bit more tightly than she probably should. Her bedside manner is pretty good, but her handling maybe isn't. But she's a halfling, so maybe being as rough for her isn't necessarily rough for anybody who is a little bit larger than she is.
As your powers draw into him, the gnome goes, his hands are still shaking. "You must save Kringle, please." And he collapses at your feet, grabs hold of your outfit. Pants. Please save him!
Keljor looks at the little gnome man, a little mad that he's set his hands on Zenora, grabs him by the scruff, sets him on his feet, and says, "Keljor thinks you should use legs. Stop falling over."
Kramnar, Gilly, what are you two doing at this point?
Peeking in through the door, coming into the, what's going on in here? Just peeks in, looking at the gnome, trying to figure out what he's talking about.
One other thing I should mention about Keldor is that he has the very unnerving habit where he doesn't blink, ever, it seems like. And his stare just is either a million miles away or very uncomfortably focused on whoever he's speaking to.
So the little gnome looks over at you, Kramnar. I need help. It's back. Kringle is in danger.
What's back?
Yes, what is this thing that's back?
At the mention of Kringle, Gilly's gonna kind of hop up and start sauntering on over. Kringle's in danger? What's he in danger from?
The darkness. It's coming back. You must help, or Iceville will be surrounded in darkness again.
Isn't it dark every night?
Darkness, not that bad.
Were you guys not listening to my song? There's an evil darkness that is coming, and we must stop it.
Like
Yes,
a song?
I heard your song, and it said you defeated the darkness. What changed about that?
I don't know, but we should definitely find out.
We need to get this guy in there, like, stat. I don't think he can stand for much longer.
This is his record. 3 seconds.
I'm gonna give him some of my hot cocoa.
As you all take the little gnome inside, he sits at the table. He's shivering from the cold. You can see frostbite has started to take over his hands. You hand him the hot cocoa. He holds it very shakily. Some of it spills onto his hands, but he doesn't seem to notice the pain. We don't have time. You don't have time. It's coming. It's coming for all of us.
Well, where is it? You said you were pointing that way? And Zenora points in whatever direction that guy was pointing earlier, which is north, but she's not entirely sure.
Yes, it's north. Does anybody have a piece of paper? A quill?
Zenora will shake her head.
Maybe the front desk has some paper, and I'll, walk up to the front desk and ask them.
They will happily provide you with a sheet of paper and a charcoal stick.
Here you go.
Very shakily and very roughly, he sketches out a map, pointing where Iceville was, and then there seems to be some type of almost an animal trail that leads further into the mountains. And then he circles it with a big W. That's where you'll find the workshop. Please. Hurry.
Alright. We're going. You gonna be good here, though?
I don't think I can make the trip back. Please help.
No, you're staying here. Are you gonna be okay here?
I have my cocoa.
Technically, you have his cocoa, but that works.
I have a cocoa.
You have a cocoa. Alright, Keljor, you ready for some action?
Keljor sighs, shakes his head, and says, Keljor would like to meet the darkness.
Alright, let's do this thing!
Okay.
I am not as good as I once was, but I can still fight. Let's go.
I'm ready to go, on the get-go, and they're all discussing it, and I'm like, okay, let's go, because I'm not gonna go out there and start beating people with my loot by myself, because that's a sure way to end up as turtle soup.
Keljor like turtle soup.
Soup
I
is
don't like the
real
way
good.
that looking at me.
Can we go get soup before we leave? Is it time for soup?
Let's reward
We don't have
ourselves
time.
with
We need
soup.
to go.
Well, it'll be our reward. Let's go. Let's go save this Kringle guy.
Now I want soup, though. Fine, let's go. Hurry. Faster done, faster with soup.
As you leave the town, you find the winding path through a pine forest to Kringle's workshop. After traveling through scattered pine woods for an hour, the forest thins and you enter a large clearing lit by partial moonlight. Suddenly, 4 piles of snow start to rise into humanoid shapes and that are 30 feet in front of you. Their arms sprout out, long, wicked wooden pieces, and ice starts to form upon their ends, giving them sharpened, icy claws. And they start to advance. And we are going to go into initiative.
The second Keljor sees all these creatures spring up, the shadows that are being cast by the moon start to twist and form around him, and his hands begin to shimmer with almost oil-like haze as shadow and umber energy just flows from him. And he gives a smile, just gives a really deep, disturbing chuckle as he gets ready for the battle.
What did everybody roll for initiative?
Zenora got a 21.
Keljor got an 8.
Gilly got a 14.
Kramnar got 11.
So, with a 21, Zenora will go first. So, as you enter the clearing, they're all spread out a little bit. They are 30 feet away from you, but they are heading in your direction at a very blinding speed. They will be upon you in a matter of seconds.
I've always been taught that slow and steady wins the race.
Well, you didn't learn from me. Seeing that they're probably too far away for her to reach, she's just going to take a couple steps forward, and she's got her mace out, and she's going to just, get into this stance that says, I'm ready. As one of them gets into her range, she's just going to start wailing on him, which is ready in action.
So you're going to hold your turn.
Yep, until they get to her, and she's going to start wailing on him as soon as they're in reach.
You are in luck, Zenora, because the first one comes up straight at you. He raises his claws up to strike.
She is going to take a couple of swings with her mace. She is a war cleric. So that first one's going to be a 10.
With a 10, your mace swings into it. It hits its belly, but the snow just kind of parts away from it and then reforms back. You don't do any damage.
Okay. Yeah, she was probably more concerned about dodging the hit. She's going to take a second swing real quick.
You can take 2 swings at level 1?
Yes, I can.
Ooh.
As a bonus action. So as a bonus action, she's going to take her second swing, kind of like a backswing, for a 13.
With a 13, the same thing happens. As you look into the creature's eyes, it doesn't have a mouth, but the folds of the snow start to form and make a wide grin.
Oh, you're going to be a bitch, aren't you?
And it brings its claw down upon you. But it gets a 7.
That is not going to hit her AC. So she is staying good.
The next one surges forward, heading straight for Keljor. This one also will slash at it with an icy claw. 21 to hit. Its claw digs deep right into your gut, dealing 7 points of slashing.
Keljor has 1 HP left, glories of the first level. He is going to respond to this attack with a resounding ow. Since he doesn't have anything reaction-based to strike back at the creature, he will take his damage and wait his turn.
Next up is Gilly.
I am going to cast Bardic Inspiration on Kramnar.
And what is your Bardic Inspiration on Kramnar?
I'm going to play a little ditty on my lute. Kramnar, the short and fat, he's going to kill that snowman who doesn't have a hat. Then after I finish my little song, I'm going to pop into my shell.
Okay, so Gilly goes into the shell. So, Kramnar, you were just given inspiration by Gilly. What do you do?
I was like, that's a funny song. Now it's time to take action. I'm gonna charge in here. Take me a swing. How many? D6 for the inspiration?
1d6, yes.
I rolled a 9 and then rolled a 1 on the inspiration.
So you were not very inspired.
No, apparently not.
Kramnar, as your axe digs into the creature, you come across the same thing that Zenora comes through, is your axe's blade just kind of slips in and out of the snowy body. Do you do anything else?
I stand ready to guard against future attacks. If anybody else is near me, get ready to defend them as well.
The ice person that you attacked, he's going to turn to you. Ice drips and forms upon his claws, and he's going to jab straight at you. With his icy claw, he rolls a 15. Does that hit your armor class?
Ha! You're gonna do better than that, you snow creature.
The ice breaks upon your armor. His hand wheels back. He almost shakes it as if he was in pain. The next person up, Keljor.
Keljor did not like the snowman that just hit him, so he is going to do some magic. Good old-fashioned chill touch on the one that attacked him. So Keljor, I cast chill touch on the guy before me. It is a ranged spell attack. So I need to roll to
well,
hit.
If it's the guy that swung at you, he's right up on you. You can't do a ranged spell attack versus someone in melee range. You can do it against somebody else, but not the one in front of you.
Then instead of that, I'm going to do Shocking Grasp.
Very well. Cast Shocking Grasp.
Which is right on him.
Okay.
And that is going to be a 22 to hit.
Describe your magic.
Alright, so as the snowman comes up on Keljor and slashes him, Keljor takes a moment, looks down at his now partially disemboweled stomach, A snarl comes over his face. He grabs the snowman by the throat, his fingers digging into the snow. It looks almost like a storm cloud where shadow and lightning merge together, travels up his arm to where his hand connects to the snowman, and dark energy just jolts through the snowman. That is going to be 5 lightning damage on the snowman.
Since the snowman is, well, made of snow, the water conducts the lightning very well. The creature starts to shudder and twist. He's not dead, but where you've gripped him, the water has sloshed away, and you can see an exposed bit of twig in its neck.
Keldor spits on it as a free action. And then he is going to do something Frolboggy, and by that I mean he's going to activate Hidden Step, which as a bonus action, you can magically turn invisible until the start of your next turn, or until you attack, make a damage roll, or force someone to make a saving throw. Is he able to do that since he gripped onto somebody?
Yes, he's able to do that, because you can bring your hand right away and do it.
As a bonus action, he's going to turn invisible, then get behind the line of snowmen, so he's not behind them.
The last snowman finally makes his up all the way up to Gilly. He goes down to swing at it with his icy claws. A 16 to hit.
That will not hit.
The icy claws scrape along the back of your shell. You hear almost like nails on a chalkboard behind you. It's trying to get in. We are back up to Zenora.
As a free action, Zenora is going to twitch a little bit at that noise because that's horrendous. Now, as a halfling, she is able to move through creature spaces if they are larger than her. Are these snowmen medium-sized creatures?
They are medium-sized, yes.
Beautiful. So she's gonna do a little bit of nimble halfling movement to roll around one of the snowmen to put it between herself and the dwarf who's also in melee combat with it to give herself advantage. That way she can take another swing at one of these things. Preferably the one that the dwarf just took a chunk out of. How's about a nat 20, y'all?
A nat 20 will hit.
Awesome. That's going to be 9 points of mace-like damage. So as I said, she kind of rolls around it, and she just comes up and she's just going straight for that midsection. If she can take out one of the buttons from behind, that would be great. Actually, from the side, she's just full bore swinging that mace, just coming along with a side swipe, just trying to almost cut the snowman in half with her mace, if possible.
As your mace digs into the creature, you hear this snapping sound, like a branch being broken in the middle of the woods. And then, silence. The snowman crumbles into freshly turned powder and is no more.
Awesome. Is there another snowman adjacent to her from this current spot?
There is the one that is attacking Killjoy, yes?
She's got one more extra attack. She's gonna take it at that thing. Is that also adjacent to the dwarf, or is it?
It's not adjacent to the dwarf, no.
Okay, then she's just gonna. Oops, she's gonna do a normal swing. No advantage. Gonna pray for another 20 though. 18. How about that? 18.
And 18 will hit.
Alright, has about 7 damage. And I think that's the one that Keldor already attacked, right?
That is correct. As your mace swings into this one, it too, you hear that loud snapping sound, and the snowman crumbles down and is no more.
Go for the stick spines, y'all! That is gonna be Zenora's turn.
2 of its comrades down. It doesn't seem to take notice, so it is just going to blindly attack. With its prey locked into an impenetrable shell, the creature turns its eyes on its 2 remaining foes, the dwarf and the halfling. Seeing as the halfling is a smaller and therefore less dangerous creature, it's going to attack you, Zenora.
Alright.
It glides across the snow, raising its claws up, 12 to hit.
That is not gonna hit her.
You nimbly dodge out of the way.
She does indeed. Small and less dangerous, my ass.
Gilly, it is your turn.
Alright, I am going to emerge from my shell, stab with my longsword. So that's going to be 19 to hit. That is going to be a 3 for damage. I kind of pop up. I put my feet out of the bottom of the shell. Shell pops up. My head pops up. My left hand pops out. And my right hand pops out with a sword in it. Stabs right into the snowman.
As your sword bites into the creature, you feel a small little resistance, and then your sword cleanly goes through. You feel like you don't do a huge amount of damage, but it is in pain, and part of the snow starts to slough off its body. Crabnar, Copperfoot. There are 2 enemies left. One is attacking Zenora, which is close by to you. The other one is a little bit off a further ways distance, being stabbed at by a turtle.
So the one that I was still attacking is still there, though?
The one that you're attacking is dead.
Okay.
Zenora, Half Moon, broke its back.
Then I'll start moving down the line then, and I'll come up on the next one and I'll be like, You need to chill out there and take my battle axe and aim for the wooden spine, like I was told.
For the record, Zenora appreciates his humor with the chill out. He'll get a little snicker from her.
Kremnar, what did you roll?
So on my attack, I rolled a 21, 10 damage. Coming up to us, the next one in the line, I'll just start rearing back with his axe in one hand, his shield in the other, and just aim for a decapitation, trying to take off its head, and he cleanly comes through it, and separating the stick spine in there, sending the head rolling.
As the creature's head rolls to the ground, it too merges back into the snowdrift. One final ice person remains. Keljor, it is your turn. You are invisible, and there is one ice person left.
Keljor is about ready to at least attempt to pull a scorpion from Mortal Kombat. He's going to come up from behind him. He's going to do Shocking Grasp again, attempting to just reach in and grab him by that twig spine of his. See how this goes. Keljor got a 15 to hit.
15 will hit. Roll for damage.
That was 1 point of lightning damage.
As you go to deal a deadly blow, your foot slips on the ice a little bit. Your aim goes wide, and you slash at the creature's cheek. It does hit him, but the damage is very nil.
Keljor has to try again.
And we are back to the top with Zenora.
Did Keljor come out of invisibility when he made that attack?
Yes.
Awesome. So seeing her friend pop out of invisibility and attack the last snowman, she is going to do the same thing she did last time, maneuver around the snow drifts and get into an advantageous position with this snowman, trying to draw its attention away from Keljor and take a swing at it. 14 to hit it.
A 14 barely hits the creature.
That's enough. And she's going to roll her damage. 4 damage.
As your mace comes down upon the creature, you hear that resounding snap. As the creature topples over, it actually stiffens back up. Its body starts to flake away. It's still there, but just barely.
Oh, you're going to be a pain, aren't you?
In a blind fit of vengeance, the creature is going to come at you with his ice claws once more, slashing down with a 12.
That is not going to hit Zenora, but she is happy that she got in the way. That way it didn't go for her friend.
With its twig spine partially broken, it misjudges its aim and kind of just twirls around on its body. Gilly, it is your turn.
I am going to slash again with my sword, and I'm going to do it two-handed this time. Does a 6 hit?
A 6 will not hit. As you go to swing the sword, you also slip on the same piece of ice that Keljor slipped on. Your sword goes wide and almost stabs at one of your friends. Well, not friends, but one of your traveling companions.
Watch it, Turtle.
I am going to give another bardic inspiration to Kremnar, sing a little ditty, still bragging on him. You're short, but you might be able to make this battle shorter.
Kremnar, with the inspiration still ringing in your ears, what do you do?
Alright, so only one left. Let's do this. And he rears back with his axe and gives it another swing, rolling an 8 and then a 2 with the inspiration. So this ice patch is very icy.
Or that turtle just really ain't good at being inspiring. But that's inner thoughts.
Ha ha ha, shots fired.
It's okay, we're having a shell of a good time.
Hey, turtle puns are my thing.
Kremnar, unfortunately, even with the inspiration ringing in your ears, your hip just kind of shifts in the wrong location. You're like, ah! And your swing goes wide, missing the creature entirely.
My hip again. I know I shouldn't do this. Ugh.
But it is Keljor's turn now.
Keljor going to finish this the way Keljor knows how to. With Shocking Grasp. Okay, that is an 18 to hit. No. Why? Can someone please clean up that bit of ice that's on the floor, please, in aisle 7? That will be 2 lightning damage on this wonderful little snowman we have right here.
As you slip upon that patch once more, you're trying to balance yourself, your arms go wide, and it grabs right into the creature. In a happy sort of accident, touching the small piece of that wooden spine that was not destroyed by Zenora. Your spell goes off, and the creature fizzes and dies.
Ow.
Come here, buddy, I got you. Alright, so Zenora, seeing her friend in a lot of pain, she's gonna hurry over, and she's not gonna use her only cure spell, but she is gonna try to kind of patch him up a little bit. She's just gonna try and, maybe make a medicine check to just kind of patch him up with some ripped bits of cloth.
Go ahead, roll a medicine check.
That's gonna be a 19.
With a 19, you're able to dress the wounds. The wounds are fairly deep. He's going to need some type of healing, but at least it's not going to get infected anytime soon.
Awesome. Hey guys, can we maybe stop for a little bit? I need Keljor to take a little bit of a rest. Do you guys mind if we find a good spot to hunker down and just chill out for a bit?
Yes, we could take a camp here.
Great.
If you guys can gather up some wood, I can make a fire.
Ooh, you gonna make us soup too?
Keljor likes soup.
We would promise soup.
I never promise.
Soup.
Well, I'll go get some wood. Keljor, you sit there, you rest. Don't fuss with that wound none. Got it?
Keljor promise.
Alright, I'm gonna go get some wood. Hey, Crammy boy, you wanna come with me?
Are we looking for soup ingredients?
No, we're looking for wood. Actually, are the
I will look for soup ingredients.
Are the spines of those snowmen still there? Like, can we use those as twigs?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. Zenora's gonna start collecting those. She's like, hey, Turtle, I got some wood.
Alright, I'm gonna make a little campfire and cast prestidigitation on it. Make ourselves a little campfire to warm us up in the snow.
Rabbit soup.
Keljor is going to attempt to make some type of soup by boiling the rations that we have
Okay.
and using some of the freshly fallen snow as water. So it's going to be boiled ration soup for dinner tonight.
Well, I was gonna go look for ingredients
Do you
first.
have a pot or anything to cook it in?
Does the fighter have a helmet?
Yes.
Keljor looks at him and says, "May I borrow your hat?"
Normally no, but anything for soup.
Thank you. So Keljor takes the helmet, gets the snow melted in it, and then starts boiling the rations to make soup.
As the soup is on the fire, Keljor is tending to the soup, but the three of you, what are you up to?
I'm looking for better soup ingredients to add.
Go ahead and roll me a survival or a nature check.
Can Zenora help him while she's out there gathering wood and stuff?
If you like, yes.
She will assist.
Got a 19 on my survival check.
Don't really see a lot of animals as you're wandering around. You do see some edible herbs, berries, things you can find in the snow.
Actually, Zenora her background is all about this kind of stuff, so she could probably point out the good berries. So she is a wanderer, so she can find food and fresh water for herself and up to 5 other people every day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, etc. So she's definitely going to be helping him with food finding.
You were able to find some berries, a few leafy greens. As you're showing Kramnar, you're digging around in the snow, and you actually pull up a couple of root vegetables as well. Things that will go marvelously in a stew.
Ooh, these are going to be great. Can't wait till we get back to that helmet of yours.
Way better than rations, dude, now.
Gilly, what are you up to?
I'm gonna spend this time tuning up my loot, hanging out by the fire, keeping warm.
As soon as Kramnar and Zenora have left, a couple minutes later, just as the broth is starting to get going in the helmet, Keljor looks at the turtle, looks at his bag. Keljor... Does Keljor have one? He starts poking around in his bag and pulls out a mess kit, which has a cup and simple cutlery, and it's a box that clamps together. One side can be used as a cooking pan, and the other as a plate or shallow bowl. Fun fact about the things that come with your first level D&D character. As Keljor looks at this sort of smorgasbord of different tools, then looks at the helmet, then looks back at where Zenora and Kron are going to be re-arriving from, he takes the mess kit, puts the cup and the simple cutlery to the side, and then goes out into the woods and buries the tin box so it could never be found.
I love him so much.
Then he gets back to the fire, looks at Gilly and says, Turtle saw nothing.
Gilly just kind of blinks with one eye at a time and just goes back to tuning his loot.
With that crisis averted, Keljor sits back down in front of the fire and starts stirring the soup and says, Keljor dodged that lightning bolt. Ooh, smells good.
So I think shortly after Keljor gets back, Zenora and they're probably about done with their foraging and wood finding excursion. So Zenora's gonna skip on back to the camp they've created, and she's going to offer Keljor she's gonna put the wood on the fire, and she's gonna offer up any of the berries and the roots that they found. Hey, Keljor, I think these will be great for the soup.
Yes, good for soup. Soup and helmet. Soup, not in anything else. Yes, good for that soup.
Yeah, great thinking.
Yeah, good thinking too. Keljor nervously takes the food and adds it into the soup, saying, yes, very good for soup and helmet.
As you all gather around the cooking helmet, because that's now a thing. The wind bites at you, but you're staying close enough to the fire. Sooner or later, it's not going to be a very thick soup, because there's no meat, there's no fat into it. It's just going to be a very thin vegetable stew. It's going to be a little salty because you mixed in with trail rations. It's not going to be the best tasting meal that you've ever had, but it will give you a little bit of time to take a breather, enjoy the night air, and be able to get a little bit of health back. For anybody that was damaged and would like to spend one of their hit dice, please go ahead and tell me what those rolls are.
Keldor got 4 HP back from his roll.
Gilly was hit, but he had a shell of a time and didn't take any damage.
I already made that pun.
You guys spent an hour eating your food. Are you saying anything to each other? Talking to each other?
You know, Keldor, this soup's pretty good, but I think we could do better. Next time we have soup, we'll do better than this.
Yes, if only we had had actual pot with us. Yeah, that too. Definitely that too.
So after everybody else is done in scooping out the soup out of my hat or my helmet, he'll wash it out with some snow, put it back on his head.
As you put it on, it's still a little wet. Being so cold out, you're probably going to have to dry it out a little bit better. On the far side of the clearing, you find the path again. After a few minutes, your group reaches the top of a small hill. You see a large building on the edge of a wood lot 200 feet away. Moving around the outside of the building are 6 short, silhouetted shapes that appear to be on patrol. On the front right of the building, you can make out a door that appears to serve as the main entrance.
So are we thinking these are hostile? Because that dome was pretty messed up. I don't want to just go...
Keldor can find out.
Alright. You do that invisible thing, so I'll keep an ear out for you. You know how we do. Zenora, as a ghostwise halfling, has the ability to speak telepathically with one other creature. Let me see what the range is on that, though. Yeah, it's only within 30 feet. So she'll sneak as close as she can if there's like a... Are we at the edge of the clearing, or...?
You guys are still in the tree line, looking upon this large warehouse building. It's a very long building made of wooden planks. The shingles on the roof seem to be in very good repair. Around it you see stacks of wood, sleighs, and a small path leading up to the door. And walking around, almost as if on patrol, seems to be these small creatures. But right now you can't really make out what they are. They could be gnomes, they could be something else.
So what are we doing?
Keldor can go invisible, so he's probably gonna sneak up and see what's going on.
Okay.
And on that note, Keldor does activate Hidden Step, and he heads towards the warehouse.
I told you.
Stealthily.
He's a great guy.
Killjar, as you're heading through, you do hear the crunch, crunch, crunch of your footsteps, for this is very fresh powdered snow. So if you want to make it silently and to sneak up on these creatures, even though you're invisible, I will still need you to roll a stealth check.
So this should be interesting because Keldor has a +1 to stealth. So here we go. And that is a 20 for stealth.
Killjar, you keep to the tree line and are able to get close to the front door. Closest creature starts to walk towards you. It doesn't seem to notice the tracks, for you were very careful in where you were placing your feet. The creature is not a gnome, it's not even alive. It seems to be a toy, standing about 3 feet high. Its body seems to be entirely made of some type of metal, maybe tin, almost like a marching soldier, with a very large hat and a feather. And on its shoulder, as far as you can tell, it may be a handheld cannon. You're not sure. As you're standing still, it walks past you, and another one walks towards, following the same path that this creature was making.
Keldor decides to try to stay on the same path that these creatures are for as long as possible, so his footprints won't be as noticeable. And he heads towards the building, looking for any sort of windows that he can peer through.
As you're looking around, keeping to it, still using the same roll, the windows seem to be blackened with either soot or have been boarded up. As you make your way around the building, you do see a small door. There are several boxes stood up next to them. It seems to be like just a place for someone to leave out of there, heading deeper into the forest. Roll me a perception check, please.
That will be a whopping 4.
You do see tracks leading from the door, but you can't really make out what they are. Everything seems to be kind of jumbled up. Like multiple people have left and came through this door, so you can't make out any individual tracks. Are you going to stay at the
Is-
door, or are you going to continue on because the toy soldier is coming up on you?
Is the door locked?
Are you going to try to test it?
Yes.
The door is not locked.
You said it was small. How small are we talking?
Small enough for a gnome. Or big enough for a gnome.
Could I fit through? I'm 6'9".
You can fit through. You would have to squat down very low. You can shimmy yourself through.
Keljor will do so.
By himself?
How far away is this building from the tree line where we left?
200 feet.
The range on message, it's 120.
The toy soldier continues his approach. He doesn't see you.
I'm gonna duck inside and wait for the toy soldier to pass.
Are you looking into the area that you're at, or are you just waiting for the soldier to pass?
I'll peek through, and Keljor has about 120 feet of dark vision.
You find yourself in the main area of the workshop. The area is 60 foot wide by 40 feet deep, and with 30 foot high ceilings. The room is filled with dozens of gnomes, in tall pointy green and red hats, methodically working away on the same toy monsters that you saw patrolling outside. At the far end of the workshop sits a 6 foot tall monster, covered in dark fur with cloven feet, a tail, 2 horns, pointed ears, and a long tongue.
Well, Keljor feels like he has gathered enough information, so he turns around, looks at the door, and cracks it open to see if the soldier's gone.
The soldier has passed. There is another one approaching.
Alright, so since he's still invisible, he will close the door quietly behind him, and then head back to the forest.
We're going to leave Keljor now and see what Zenora, Kramar, and Gilly are up to while they're waiting on you. You see Keljor disappear, and you do notice the tracks leading towards the warehouse. Once the tracks align with the soldiers, with the toy soldiers, you completely lose sight of where Keljor is, and you're basically just standing out in the cold. Are you three doing anything?
So we're in the tree line, right? Are there more, like, singular trees between us and the workshop, or is it just like a blank field?
There are a few trees here and there. You also do see several boxes, several piles of wood. Also, to one of the far sides of the corners, you see a bright red sleigh.
Ooh, that's tempting. How close to the sleigh do the toy soldiers go?
Toy soldiers seem to pass it. They do not engage with it, but it is fairly close to where they are at.
I do have a plan. Does anyone here know how to cast the thing with the door, and then you poof, and then we're inside?
I do not know that one.
What's it called? Like poof door? Yeah, no, I ain't got that one.
What about the one where you run really fast and poof? It's the Misty.
No, I ain't got that one either.
The turtle's kind of like looking up and trying to remember all the songs that he knows. Nope, don't know that one.
The one where you sneak really good.
I mean, I'm just small and kind of naturally sneaky, so why would I need a spell for that?
I can fall down real good.
We could try that. We
Can't
can
fall down real good.
Yes.
This guy. I'm gonna
How
try.
deep is the snow?
It comes about to ankle height.
So since Zenora is actually pretty light, does she actually sink down as much as the others do?
You are pretty light, but it's also a smaller area of mass, so you do sink down just about as much as they do.
So Zenora she would like to get a little bit closer, so she's gonna nod to the other two and make these like little gestures, pointing at herself and then pointing at the tree ahead of her, and then like doing the little like creep walking with the fingers thing, like the ding 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 ding, and then she's gonna point to herself again and point to the tree again, so that they understand that she is going to sneak, and she's just slowly creep her way closer.
Roll me a stealth check, please.
That's gonna be an 11.
Zenora, as you make your way to the tree line, you are very light on your feet. You make your way quickly to the nearest tree, darting in and out. As you hit another tree, you get up close. A toy soldier walks by you. It doesn't seem to notice you. A piece of snow off one of the branches falls down next to your feet. The toy soldier turns, sees you, and takes aim with his gun.
Well, shit.
So, we will now go into initiative. Part of that initiative is Keljor. You are behind the warehouse when this is happening. Why doesn't everybody tell me what they rolled for initiative? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
I got an
8.
You all rolled an 8.
If that's not party unity, I don't know what is.
Right? The toy soldier that's next to you, Zenora, takes aim and he fires with his gun. He shoots at you with a 16.
That's not a hit. She's got an AC of 18.
So the toy soldier turns his gun on you, takes fire. He's expecting a taller opponent. The shot goes straight over your head, hits the tree behind you. The next toy soldier, he runs up, and he takes a shot at you as well. He shoots at 11, again missing your tiny, tiny frame.
She's okay with this.
Keljor, you hear 2 shots go off. The 2 soldiers that were patrolling the back, they immediately turn face and start to head around the building. One runs away, and you're left with one by himself. It is your turn.
Keljor is going to decide, this is in fact a robot, and they do not like lightning, so why change? Shocking grasp. And do I get advantage because I'm attacking him from invisibility?
Yes, you do get advantage.
Alright, so that is a 22. I'm hoping that still hits, otherwise we are done for. That is going to be 3 lightning damage on the robot. Keljor, seeing one of them run away, just as this little robot man turns where his compatriot is going, Keljor, looming up behind him, emerges from invisibility, grabs him by the neck, and just Emperor Palpatines him for a good hot second there.
The creature's body, that is made of metal, goes wild as his hands go into the air and starts to shake. After the spell, there's this burn mark on its back, and it swivels around you. Before we figure out what it's going to do, Zenora, it is your turn.
Alright, so about how far away from these creatures is she at this point?
The 2 that are shooting at you are between 10 and 15 feet.
In that case, she is going to try a spell. It's going to be a ranged spell. It is called Sacred Flame, and she is going to cast it at the first one that shot at her, because he came a little bit closer to hitting her. It is a DC 12 dexterity save for you.
As the radiant energy comes down from your spell, I rolled a 12, so the creature... So the toy soldier barely scoots out of the way as the beam of light strikes into the snow, burning away the snow entirely and creating steam.
They're very ranged, so she's going to kind of keep hidden behind this tree until the rest of her party can join and back her up.
Gilly.
I am going to my last bardic inspiration on Zenora, saying a little shake, 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 Zenora. That's gonna give her a d6, and I'm not sure if this will work, but alright, so I'm gonna try and cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter at one of the toy soldiers. So that's gonna be a wisdom saving throw.
The one that you used the spell on, I rolled a 10, so he just starts... He doesn't laugh, he can't speak. He just starts shuddering and jittering, just back and forth. You start to hear little crinkings of the tin knocking as he moves uncontrollably.
So that will end my turn.
Some more things to knock down. So he's gonna come reaching his axe out of its holster and ready himself. Or were they in with range that I could come right up and hit one of them?
You can go ahead and charge away.
Alright, so he's just gonna start there in the middle. Try to take the middle one down here. And rolled, if it was with advantage, 2 nat 20s.
Roll for damage, sir.
That'll be 8 damage.
Go ahead, describe.
So he's just gonna come up and look this little toy thing in the eye and just come down with his axe straight into the head, splitting it down the middle. They'd be like, these things aren't that tough. There's just many of them.
As you bring your axe down, it splits the head in 2. The pieces of the head fall to the ground. Its body is still standing up straight and tall. It's not dead yet. It grabs hold of its gun, a blade shoots out of the barrel, and it's going to shank you with a bayonet. An 11 to hit you.
Tried better than that little thing, as I swipe it away with my shield.
You also hear the sound of steel on steel as 2 more bayonets come out, and 2 more of the toy soldiers are going to run up and try to stab at you. 8 and a 24 critical.
So the other one, still not sharp, but oh, my back.
He stabs you in the back for 9 points of damage. Keljor, the one that you shocked, has a burn mark on its back. It turns around, you hear the sound of steel on steel as a bayonet appears, and it comes to shank you. 6 to hit you.
Ha! No.
And Zenora, the 2 that are on you, continue to open fire. 6 to hit, and an 11.
Even combined, those 2 attacks wouldn't hit.
The shots, they graze the tree that you're hiding behind. Keljor, it is your turn.
Keljor realizing that he could be very close to death if this thing hits him again, or any of these creatures hit him again, looks at the metal body and realizes his current strategy is his best strategy. So he reaches out, grabs the metal gun, and lets the lightning from Shocking Grasp burst through him. And because he is made of metal, I get advantage. So the 7 will not hit him, but the 24 sure will. That is 7 lightning damage on the little metal drummer boy.
So this time, instead of just leaving a black handprint on its back, your hand just runs out, hits it, and its body explodes from your palm outwards. The pieces of its body cling to the ground, and the heat from it starts to melt the snow.
Haha. Boom. Now, because Keldor has movement left, he is going to go towards the sound of battle where all of his friends, are doing battle. So I believe he's on the other side of the warehouse, so it's probably going to take him the movement of this turn and then the movement of his next turn to get to the battle. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Alright, and so that will be the end of Keldor's turn.
And speaking of his friends, Zenora, it is your turn.
Well, Zenora is not a question mark. She's not the question mark part of the friends. She's definitely his friend. Now that Kramnar is up in combat with these things, she is going to leap out from where she's hiding behind this tree, and she is going to take a swing at the first one that kept shooting at her. She's going to take a swing at him with her mace. And she is going to get a 10 on that hit. She is going to miss that toy soldier.
All right. Gilly, you're up.
Alright, so Gilly is just gonna pull out his longsword and with 2 hands swing at the closest toy soldier. You said a 10 definitely hits, right?
Yeah,
10
I'm
does
pretty
not
sure we
hit.
decided that.
10 does not hit.
That is gonna be all I am gonna be able to do, so that's gonna end my turn.
After Gilly, it is Kramnar, Copperfoot.
So he's looking kind of bad, so he's going to use Second Wind. I got a 9, so I regain 10 hit points. And I'm back to full health. So he's going to breathe real heavy and be like, "You're going to have to try a little harder than that to put me down," and starts readying his axe to swing some more. And rolled another nat 20.
That's 3 in 2 turns.
Pulls his axe back out of the head of this toy soldier and just drives it even deeper, probably splitting it in half, I imagine, with 15 damage.
This toy soldier is completely obliterated. Both halves of his body cling to the floor. The other 2 take a small step back, but they steel themselves. Pun. Anything else for your turn?
I just get ready for their onslaught and my turn.
The first one in you going to bayonet you. 22 to hit.
That hits 6 damage.
Hits you for 6 points of damage. The second one with a 19.
That hits.
4 points of damage.
I'm still up.
With 2 of the soldiers down and 2 trying to kill Kramnar, the other 2 keep their focus on Zenora. With 2 of their companions down, the 2 that are attacking Kramnar continue their onslaught, while the 2 that are on Zenora, you hear that familiar shink of metal upon metal as 2 bayonets appear, and they go to stab you, Zenora. The first one is a 7, and the second one is an 18.
That second one hits. They finally got the number right.
As you avoid the first bayonet, you feel a stinging, sharp pain in your back. The bayonet has sunk in deep, dealing 6 points of damage.
That kind of hurts. Okay, not doing that again.
And Keljor, as you turn the corner, you see Zenora get stabbed in the back by one of the toy soldiers.
I'm not a barbarian, but the spellcaster version of Rage, which is not Rage, just anger, I guess, activates for Keljor. He forgets he's a squishy and lays his hands on the closest toy soldier and jolts him with a Shocking Grasp. Here we go. And that's with advantage because he's made of metal. That is going to be an 18 to hit. All I want my Christmas is the damage over 1. The damage over 1. The damage over 1. All I want for Christmas is the damage over 1. Then I would have a Merry Kringlemas.
Unfortunately.
It's 1. It's 1. That's the moral of the story. It was a 1. I want you guys to all know, for all the time, that was embarrassing. And I appreciate my time playing with you guys. Goodbye.
I thought it was very stoic.
Unfortunately, Keljor, as you go to reach to the 10 soldier, you actually touch the gun that it's using. The stock of the gun is made out of wood. It does not conduct electricity very well, so it gets away with minimum damage.
Well, at least I tried.
Zenora, your friend is up, helping you. It is up to you to figure out what to do.
Zenora, seeing Keljor join the fray in melee, is gonna kind of get this moment of, oh shit, I need to take care of this. Because she knows how squishy Keljor is, so she is going to dodge down and maneuver herself around this little toy soldier, effectively giving herself flanking on it, so that she can thwack it really good, aka with advantage. And that's going to be an 18 to hit it. And I have a quick question. The Bardic Inspiration, can that be applied to damage or just the attack roll?
Just the attack roll. There are certain bards that allow that, but you guys are not high enough level for that to come into play.
That's okay. I was just trying to decide if I needed to add extra damage to this hit.
Which one did you attack?
The one that Keljor just attacked.
Okay.
She's putting it between herself and Keljor, that way she got the advantage. That's going to 4 damage to that guy.
You rough it up a little bit. Parts of it seem to be broken. One of its arms is no longer usable, but it is still very much up and still very, very much dangerous.
Okay, she's only got 1 spell slot. She's going to save it for a cure. She's not going to smite this thing. She's just going to keep trying to draw their attention, basically, away from Keljor.
He has such a good friend in you.
Not such a healthy friend right now, but he's got a great friend.
Gilly, you're up.
I am gonna just take another swing. Actually, I'm gonna put away my weapon and I'm gonna slash at this thing with my claws. Does a 13 hit?
13 barely misses it. Your claws slice against the metal of its body. No damage taken.
Alright, I'm gonna swing again. Does a 17 hit?
17 will hit. Which one do you do damage to?
I'm gonna get one of the ones on Zenora. I'm not gonna split the damage, I'm gonna hit the one that's already been hit. I sheath my sword into my shell. Don't worry about the actual biological implications of that. I I swing wildly with the first one, missing it, but on my second swing, I'm able to hit on the reaction pretty much right across the mechanical face of this thing.
Its face is very badly damaged. Its body seems to be held on by nothing but duct tape and a prayer. It's on its final legs, but it's still up. Kramnar, it is your turn.
I'm kind of hurt. I'm going to take the disengage action. I'm going to disengage to the tree line.
Okay.
Because I only got 2 hit points left. And that's going to take my action. I don't really have a bonus action ability.
So as you do that, the toy soldiers that were on you, they don't follow you. They don't seem to be wanting to leave that far into the forest. What they will do is they will put their hands onto their bayonets, push them back down, and they'll start to load up for another round of shots to shoot at you on their next turn. Zenora!
Yeah!
As you're fighting one, the one that has been horribly beaten and battered is going to jitterly try to stab at you with its bayonet. Critical.
Jesus. Yeah, I think the cleric's about to drop. Yep.
7 points of damage.
Yeah, Zenora, she did her best pulling all the aggro away from Keljor, and she's like, I got you! Ugh! It got me. And then she drops.
And then Gilly takes a bayonet. 18 to hit Gilly.
That'll barely hit me.
7 points of damage.
I am still up.
Keljor, Zenora is down. What do you do?
The one that took her down was the one that we were both hitting, right?
Yes.
Keljor is gonna Shocking Grasp again. Alright, that's gonna be a 21 to hit.
Definitely hit. Roll for damage.
And we will have a reprise of the All I Want for Christmas is having more than 1 damage.
But that is enough to destroy the creature. With your little static shock, the creature finally drops dead and cannot move anymore.
Thank the Lord of Shadows for this small victory. Then he looks around hoping no one heard that. And as my bonus action, can I use that to pick up Zenora and run into the woods, not worrying about the opportunity attacks?
You can pick up Zenora. You will take an attack of opportunity.
That's fine. I'll pick her up and try to move towards the tree line. Is that something I'm able to do, or
yes,
no?
You're able to do that. You will take an attack of opportunity. So the one that has not been hit yet, he stabs at you with a 10.
That will not hit.
And you and Zenora book it into the tree line, into relative safety. Gilly, you have been left all alone with a small little toy soldier, only about waist high.
I'm gonna cut him with my claws again. Does a 13 hit?
13 will miss.
About a 17.
17 will hit.
Alright, that's gonna be 2 slashing damage. So, once again, I think I need to stop starting with my right hand. I think Gilly's left-handed, so probably evil, but He misses with his right hand and swings again with his left hand, making contact, scratching into the metal with his claws.
Kramnar, you are running into the forest. The toy soldiers are nearly finished loading up their guns to shoot at you. What do you do?
Is there like a tree I can hide behind?
You can take cover behind trees. That's what they're there for.
I will take cover behind the tree and ready in action. If I see something come around this tree that's not one of my friends, they're getting an axe blade.
Do you consider Keldor a friend?
He hasn't been the one attacking me, so in that sense, yes.
Yes.
So Kramnar, as you take behind a tree and cover, Zenora, believe you owe me a death save.
I do indeed. I'm gonna add that bardic inspiration.
What'd you roll?
Not very high. I got a 4 on the bardic inspiration and a 5 on the death save, so that's a 9.
Even with your inspiration,
Still failure.
you still failed.
Hey, if I'm going to give help, make it go a little bit further.
Sing us better songs.
We need to inspire the bard to inspire people. Killjoy, as you're carrying Zenora into the forest, she's very light, being a halfling, but your hands become slick with blood. You start to see the color drain from her face. She does not have long for this world.
Keldor picks up his pace a little bit, trying to get to the tree line before the soldiers can fire their shots.
As Kramar ducks behind the tree, the toy soldiers choose a new target to take aim at, and they're going to shoot at Keljor. So Keljor, you get a shot towards your back from a tiny
Everybody hates Keldor.
21 to
And
hit.
that'll hit.
5 points of damage.
Ha ha! Joke's on you! I have something for this. I have something called Strength of the Grave, because I am a shadow sorcerer. Starting at first level, your existence in a twilight state between life and death makes you difficult to defeat. When damage reduces you to 0 HP, you can make a charisma saving throw, DC 5 plus the damage taken. On a success, you set drop to 1 HP. So, time for me to make a charisma saving throw.
What's the DC?
The DC is 5 plus the damage taken, so that is going to be a 10.
Okay. Make a charisma saving throw.
Let's hope I get this. Ding dong, I got it! Keljor got charisma in his own Keljor-y way. Ding dong, it's 22! Keljor made the save. He is dropped to 1 HP instead of 0. He keeps trucking.
He keeps trucking. Zenora, I know it's hard to ask you this, but I need another death save.
I don't think it is that hard. She really just does not want to live it. She's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with life. That's a 6 on the death save. So we're at 2 failures so far. For those of you keeping track at home, the cleric is down.
And literally, if it was any of us, you could help us out. But
I know.
there's not much we can do.
The sad thing is she kept a cure specifically so that she could help somebody else. Didn't even think to cure herself.
Gilly, the bard, it is your turn.
I'm going to try again with the longsword, so I'm going to pull that back out and get a swing in. I rolled a 14. Does 14 hit?
A 14 will hit. Is it two-handed or one-handed?
Two-handed. So the damage on that is going to be 10.
So describe to me how you end this creature's life.
So I'm going to pull my sword back out of my shell. I'm going to swing it kind of like a golf club and splice it from groin to head, trying to cleave it in two that way.
The creature is cut in twain. Its body lies on the ground, motionless.
Is it possible for me to pick up the gun?
It is possible for you to pick up the gun.
I'm going to do that, and then that will end my turn.
Okay. Kramnar, it is your turn.
I guess they're not following me then. Well, I will pull out my crossbow, peek out from my tree, and give it a fire. I don't use this thing very often. I rolled a nat 1.
Yeah, it goes wide. It does not hit. Keljor and Kramnar are both behind trees, is that correct?
Yes, that is
Yep.
correct.
Okay. They're going to hold their position until they see you. They are just basically oh no, never mind. They can shoot Gilly! I forgot about Gilly. Fire at Gilly. Pop. 13 to hit Gilly.
That misses Gilly.
12 to hit Gilly.
Also misses Gilly.
They're going to start loading their guns again. Keljor, it is your turn. You're behind the tree. Zenora is not looking well.
I will go ahead and I'll try medicine, see what happens, but
All right.
I don't know if that'll work.
You are, at this
Yeah.
point, you are just in a panic. You don't know what's going on, and you don't know how to save her.
Well, H.
Okay, we got this. We got this.
Zenora,
Sorry.
We got this.
I need you to make me a death saving throw.
Alright, this one's all for the money. Wow. Well, Zenora's gonna go have a little chit-chat with Keljor's shadow deity and be like, Oi, this guy's pretty cool. Take care of him, okay? Or let me, I don't care. As she slips away from this life with a 5 on her 3rd death save. And unfortunately, I didn't roll a 1 on any of those, so I couldn't use my lucky feat.
Keljor, as you're behind the tree, Zenora's eyes open up for just a second, and then her expression goes blank, her body goes limp, and she's gone. Gilly, it's your turn.
Upset about losing the life of a party member, he is going to angrily stomp over and try and kill another soldier in retribution. Does a 21 hit?
A 21 will hit.
And that's going to be 5 damage.
Kramnar, you're up.
Yep, and I'm going to try with my light crossbow again. This time I rolled an 18.
18 will hit.
6 piercing.
Which one do you hit?
The one... Is there one that's been attacked before?
There's one that Gilly just stabbed through with a sword.
That's the one I'm shooting.
As your bolt shoots into its chest, its body goes limp, and Gimli, your sword becomes heavy from its weight. It's gone.
I'm going to use the rest of my movement to go over the tree that the rest of my party's hiding behind. And just when I arrive there, I realize that I'm too late, and I'm just... No! Not another comrade! Not like this!
As Kramnar is grieving over the loss of a newly found companion, the toy soldier unsheaves its bayonet once more, and it goes after Gilly. Critical, 24 to hit. 8 points of damage to the bard.
Alright, Gilly's down now.
Keljor, what would you like to do?
How many more of these soldiers are up and about?
1 left.
Keljor looks at him, enraged, casts Chromatic Orb on him.
So your Chromatic Orb misses.
I'm pretty sure that's my turn.
Gilly, roll me a death save.
That's going to be a 5. You guys might get that soup after all.
Kramnar, it is your turn.
Well, I'd love to help my friends, but if I get hit again, I'm going to end up like them. So, peek out from the tree again with my light crossbow for 22 to hit.
22 will hit.
And 11 piercing.
Kramnar, describe how you killed this creature.
So, Krimnar is like, I'm tired of everyone around me dying! And I peek around with the crossbow and just, boom, headshot, clean through. It drops as I rush over, like, I won't let another one of us die, and I'll come over and I will be trying to help you stabilize.
What's Keljor doing?
Keljor is cradling Zenora's body with one arm and then just staring bloody murder at the warehouse. What is it made of, by the way?
Wood and stone.
Perfect.
Kramnar, please roll me a medicine check to try to stabilize Gilly.
I rolled a 14 on my medicine check.
14 will stabilize.
Over my years and years of knowledge of combat, I know how to just wrap simple bandages. So he comes over, just, all right, what do I do? Okay, wrap this around here, pull this, and he's just anything that's bleeding, he's making it not bleed anymore, and that's the best he can really do.
Through coughing up blood, I... Thanks.
Thank God he's gonna live.
As one of our heroes falls, and as one is saved from the brink of death, we're going to take a step back from the story, and we will continue this next time on Sunday Nights. Minstrels, play us out!